Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. Pipe on a Patio Barn Edition. Smoking the Peterson Dracula 999 with my newly replenished jar of Condor Green. I love Condor Green. Beautiful day here. Absolutely gorgeous. About 83 degrees. 82 degrees, somewhere around there. So Friday I go back in to see my eye doctor for a follow-up after my cataract surgery. Still, my reading vision is about the length of my arm, so I'm still not where I want it to be. So I'm probably just going to have them do reading glasses for me, because everything else is fine. And it'll be nice to just have some good reading glasses. When I need to read something, I just pull out my old glasses and put those on, and it gets me close enough that I can read it for now. But it's not the right prescription, so I need to. The doctor said she could do another surgery and put a different lens in and get me closer up if I wanted to, but I don't want to pay another for another surgery. And so anyway, looking forward to that. I want to be able to read clearly. I'm taking the weekend off. I took the weekend off. I'm not doing any work this weekend. I got a ton of work coming up this week. I got got a bunch of chainsawing to do. Got to trim up some trees. Some of the limbs are getting too low, so I'm going to limb those trees up. Then I got to cut those limbs. And then I got a bunch of downed limbs over here. We had some pretty good storms this past week, and every time we have storms, I lose limbs. So I got to cut those up and stack them down at the street for the guys to come pick up. And then just start mowing again. I gotta start mowing. Mowing never ends here. I got 3 acres and it's all grass. The meadow is meadow grass. The up here, the top, out here by the barn, and in the back is zoysia grass, which is really thick, lush grass. And but it doesn't grow as fast as the meadow grass. The meadow grass, I can cut that, and 3 days later it's ready to be cut again. But I only do it every 2 weeks, so. There's a lot of wildflowers and stuff down there that grow, and everything grows super fast, and we get so much rain here that everything grows really fast. We get these in the summer, we get these afternoon thunderstorms. And it'll just pour rain for about an hour, and then it's done. And then it's hot. So you get that rain and then that heat, and everything just grows like crazy. So it's a never-ending battle with the mowing here. But I enjoy the mowing. I just don't want to do it all at once, because it's about a 7-hour job to do the whole thing all at once. The meadow takes about 3 to 3.5 hours. The top and the sides over here I can do in about 2.5 hours, and then the backyard in about an hour and a half. My wife, she wanted to mow a couple weeks ago. That was about a month ago, I guess she did the mowing, and she broke the belt on the tractor, so I had to go and pull that off and pull the mower thing off and put a new belt on. And it's easy to get it off, but it's not so easy to get it back on. So Sadie actually came over and helped me put it back on that day. Because you got to pull the PTO off and all of that stuff, and hook that belt back on, and then the new belt had to be put on, and it was just a bunch of work. But then Denny mowed. She mowed after that, and I think she bent one of the blades down somehow. She hit something and bent it down, so it's kind of scalping the grass. I'm gonna have to put new blades on there. But I'm not in any hurry to do that right now. Yeah. One of the bolts for the blades is stripped. The head is stripped, so I have to use locking pliers on it, and then just muscle it to get it off of there. So I bought new bolts for it, so when I do it, I could put new bolts on and not have to worry about it anymore. I'll get some new blades. I'll take these blades down. If the blade is bent, which I think it is, I'll probably just toss that blade, and I'll have the other two sharpened, and then I'll have 2 spare blades in case something like that happens again. I could slap on one of the other ones. So I'll have a couple spares. Those John Deere blades are super thick. They're super thick. compared to the Craftsman lawnmower that I had, riding mower, the blades are about twice as thick as the Craftsman blades were. And they've lasted a long time, but they're due for a sharpening, and I'm sure, especially hitting limbs and stuff when we're mowing. And Denny was mowing in the backyard. And she was on the city property behind our brick wall. She went back there to mow. And I've done that many times, and I know that there's an area where if you go too far, the tractor won't come back up. It's just too steep and it's wet, and the tires just, I have turf tires instead of ag tires. If I had ag tires, I'd be able to do it, but the turf tires are just more flat tires. They don't chew up the grass. So she was down there and she went too far, and she texts me and says, I need some help. I'm on the back hill. So I went out there and I couldn't even see the tractor. She had gone so far that it went down into the trees. So I had to get in there and call McKinley out, and McKinley and we had Denny get on the tractor and put it in reverse, and McKinley and I got on the side of the tractors and were pushing on the fenders, and we pushed her back up till it caught and was able to pull up on its own. So I was giving her a hard time about that. She said, my tractor was gone. I couldn't even see the tractor. She goes, well, I started down and it just started sliding down the hill. Yeah, you're lucky there was a fence there. Or you'd have been down on Apperson, down at the bottom of the hill. But Denny seemed to enjoy it. And it was nice to have a little break, from doing all of it. I had done she did the meadow one time. And then the next time I did the meadow and she did the top and the sides in the backyard. And she enjoyed that. So I told her, anytime you want to do that, you're welcome to. Saves my back. The top and the sides and the backyard aren't so bad on my back. It's the meadow that hurts my back the most because it's uneven and it's got, gullies and stuff from where water runs down there, and it's all downhill. So it's got some dips and stuff. When you go over that, it just beats your back. So I try and mow with the ruts instead of across them. Boy, the John Deere is so much more comfortable than that Craftsman was. Holy smokes, I couldn't walk for a week after using the John Deere. I literally was laid up in bed for 2 days after mowing with the Craftsman. It just beat me up so bad. But the The John Deere tractor. It's much more comfortable and easier ride. Much bigger tires, and so it just goes over things a lot easier and gets things done a lot faster because it's much bigger cutting path. But that's kind of what's been going on here. Yesterday was, or Friday, Wednesday was Sadie's birthday. And so she took Friday off. So she and I went down to the Kelly's Music, the local music store here. She needed strings for her guitar, her acoustic guitar. So I bought her some strings, brought her home, showed her how to put them on correctly because she tried to do it herself and she broke the strings trying to put them on. Showed her how to do it properly, and had her download a tuner on her phone so she could tune it properly and everything. And she just has a little Yamaha FG Junior, I think it's called. It's like a 3/4 guitar. She's had for 10 years, something like that. Well, she was looking at guitars while she was in there, just checking out the acoustics. And I told her she gets my acoustic, that's her guitar whenever she's ready for it. I have a custom built Moe's guitar that I had built in 1983. And just a beautiful, beautiful guitar. And I told her that will be hers. And but she fell in love with, excuse me, with the Epiphone Hummingbird 6-string. Beautiful guitar, played great, sounded wonderful. Epiphone is the budget Gibson guitars. They're made in, I believe that one's made in China, at the Epiphone factory in China. Awesome guitar, played great, sounded wonderful. She fell in love with that guitar. And it was $449, so it wasn't a bad price for a guitar at all. And so she's saving her money up to buy that guitar. And she's halfway there, I think. But she has a thing for hummingbirds. It's her She's just got this love of hummingbirds. She has a hummingbird tattoo on her arm. Hummingbirds were a thing she shared with her grandma Sarah, Denny's mom. They used to sit and watch the hummingbirds and the hummingbird feeder all the time, and she had some pretty neat interactions with hummingbirds over the years on really special occasions, like her graduation. And she had hummingbirds come or we had hummingbirds come and just come to the front sliding glass door and look in on the day she graduated. There was 3 of them. And she took that as Grandma Sarah being there, Grandpa Sarah and her Uncle Kent. That was them coming to visit on her graduation day, letting her know they were there. They were with her on that day. So it was pretty neat. And so hummingbirds have a special place in her heart. And when she saw that guitar with the hummingbird on it, she was just like, oh my gosh, it's got hummingbirds. And a lot of meaning for her, hummingbirds. Obviously, she got one tattooed. And it was a hummingbird that my daughter McKinley had drawn. And so she took that hummingbird to the tattoo artist and said, I'd like to have this tattooed on me. And the hummingbird says, who drew this? And she said, my sister. And she goes, your sister's a great artist. And she thought about doing tattoos. And they did a wonderful job on her tattoo. It looks beautiful. So that tattoo has a lot of meaning to Sadie, because it was, not only was it a hummingbird for her grandma Sarah, but it also was a hummingbird that her sister had drawn. So she was, it had a deep meaning to her. And so I have no doubt that she will wind up with this hummingbird guitar at some point. And I had a Gibson hummingbird back in the 70s, 12-string, which sounded wonderful, but I just don't like 12 strings. It's just not the style of music I play. 12 strings just isn't something I would use. And so I wound up trading that guitar for my amp blew up. Actually, my amp got stolen. That's what it was. My amp got stolen by from a church. We were playing at a church, and we left our gear there. I brought home my guitars, luckily. But we left our amps there so that on Sunday when we played, everything would be set up. Came in Sunday and all our gear was gone. And we came to find out it was the preacher who stole our gear and pawned it. And took me a long time to ever go back to church after that, I'll tell you. It was probably 15, 16 years before I ever stepped foot in a church again. Taught me a valuable lesson, though. Never leave my gear anywhere. Pack it in and pack it out no matter what. And I had a beautiful old 60s Fender Bassman amp that I was using. God, it was just amazing sounding, just a wonderful amp. It was a head and a cabinet. I wish I still had that amp, boy. It was a massive cabinet. But anywho, that's what's been going on here. So I've learned a valuable lesson. I always pack my gear in and out. Never leave it anywhere. It goes home with me, no matter how big a pain it is to pack it up. Set it up again. I don't trust anybody with my gear anymore. But anyway, hope y'all have a good weekend, or had a good weekend. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and have a good week this week. And I will catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.